Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Leo. If Leo is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. Okay, let's get started. Okay, here we go. Knock, knock, knock. And what do these tea leaves have for us tonight, Leo? You're gonna have to excuse my nails. They are very dirty. I've been planting flowers and things all day, so I scrubbed them, but they still did not get super clean. I'll have to soak them. Okay, let's see. Okay, so first I want to look at the card. We have the universe. This is from the Thoth deck. And this really, in my mind, is so much, well, in my mind and in the interpretations of many others. This is about transformation, self-evolution, the individuation process, wholeness, everything kind of coming together, all of the elements aligning, and definitely using this, and this is one of my favorite parts. We have the sickle here, and so cutting through the difficulties of life with that sharp blade. And so let's get started. Let's see how this goes along with our cup. Okay. So there's a few things, but the first thing I want to look at is we have somebody that looks like they're resting in a bed. The bed and then the person. So I wonder if there was some kind of, I feel like almost like an ailment happening, but this is in the emotional psychic zone. So I feel like maybe there has been some amount of mental pain, maybe some melancholy, depression, feeling kind of stagnant, overwhelmed. Almost kind of like it's hard to get out of bed at times. I am no stranger to this feeling. I know it very well, especially in my years before having a child and a family to take care of. I definitely could go, long periods of time when I wasn't working to just stay in bed all day if I could, and it really was like my safe zone, a place where I could hide from the world and I could just kind of eat, sleep, watch TV, read, write. And it was kind of my, almost like a spaceship, right? Kind of my vessel for traveling the dream worlds, my imagination, and being shielded from all of those harsh outside things. So I understand definitely this feeling of just really having trouble, doing anything but being in that place. But I don't think that this is ongoing for you. I think that this was a period of time. I want to look at maybe what kind of caused some of this possibly, or maybe influenced these feelings. But I think that, you know, they have kind of passed. I feel that you have definitely been through a period of processing and overcoming and realigning parts of your life, aspects of your life. And, you know, this is a read for a Leo. No matter what placement, if you have prominent Leo, you are somebody who doesn't get held down for too long, right? So, let's see. When I turn this over, I kind of see two figures. It almost looks like they're kind of, I don't know, arguing. It seems like they're not on level ground, but there's just kind of this movement, almost connected, but coming apart. Okay, so I feel that there is a sense of kind of maybe trying to break free or having broke free. I think you've really never been one to be kind of restricted by a conventional lifestyle. I think that you kind of, you know, like to explore all kinds of different things in life, different ways of living that maybe are not, well, as I said, conventional. And so I think when you kind of have set yourself up in a situation, and I imagine that this maybe is kind of a domestic kind of scenario. And when you are living with people, living with someone, having a family, or, you know, a relationship, or even living with family members, there are others that expect things of you. And I think that for you, that is something that can quickly begin to feel like too much. You like to do things your own way. When you are in a situation where you are sharing a living space, not so much somebody is staying with you, but it is an equal split, or you have roommates, or you are staying with somebody else, and there are these expectations of you doing certain things, maybe chores, bills, you know, maybe being quiet at night, you know, whatever, keeping your things tidy, whatever it is. I think that you can become overwhelmed quickly, and this, I think, can start to trend towards more of a kind of resentful feeling on your part, feeling smothered, feeling kind of like somebody's trying to parent you. They're, you know, overreaching. And I believe on some level, and this is maybe, you know, not what you want to hear, but I think that you can kind of have a tendency to be somewhat unrealistic. This kind of, you know, this makes you a little bit prone to being kind of restless, being disappointed by these kinds of situations. But you are the one that chooses to go into them knowingly. And I feel that you have this kind of feeling of like it's going to be different this time, or this is like a person that I could really like live with. But once you get into it, it becomes more difficult for you. I'm not going to say it's always going to be like that, or it has always been like that, but I do believe, at least right now, there is kind of a sense of just misalignment with whomever you are living with. If you are living alone, maybe this is kind of the battle you have with yourself, trying to live a more, you know, routine life, being more strategic, cleanly, or at least organized, right? and being kind of proactive about things around the house and in your living situation, but you just kind of are like, I don't want to do this. And then you kind of disappoint yourself, right? Now, I don't think that this is like the worst thing in the world, but I think that it does cause some kind of discomfort. I mean, of course, your living situation where is going to be core to, you know, how your life feels, how you're experiencing the world. This is supposed to be a place that you can go to and feel safe and comfortable and at home, right? So, let's see what else. So I kind of see here, I was looking at this and I'm like, it looks like a vacuum. And this is part of why I am going with this more domestic route, is that it feels like a lot of this is in the realm of just kind of the tedium of chores and responsibilities in a very physical space. Okay. And I feel like there's maybe been some disagreements about who does what, how much are you getting done, are you pitching in? I feel like you often are kind of seeking more along the lines of, you know, like follow your bliss, finding your happy place, doing what makes you feel good. And that's okay, but I think that sometimes, you know, it kind of is like, are you going to be consistent and like in a like stable, you know, doing the things that are your responsibility, or are you kind of going off on these tangents, looking for things to, you know, fill your time, make you feel alive, make you, you know, kind of feed into those pleasure zones, you know, this kind of thing. I think really it's all about finding a way to balance the two, and maybe even finding ways to make that domestic work enjoyable. You know, there are things that we can do to, I mean, let's face it, it's never going to be like the funnest thing ever, unless you're that very particular kind of person who enjoys cleaning. But you can do things like listen to music and, you know, work together as a family doing the chores and singing and dancing and, you know, and making it kind of a game. And these are the kind of things I've had to kind of implement, you know, teaching my daughter how to clean up after herself, and even getting myself into a mode of enjoying doing a lot of chores. I have so many chores every day. I have nonstop stuff going on. Do I love it? Not all the time, no. But I definitely have found ways to make it more enjoyable, like making myself like a nice coffee or a, you know, cup of tea to drink while I'm doing it, having some snacks, listening to music, you know, and setting reasonable goals every day. I know nobody wants to be doing chores every single day, but I find that sometimes it's easier to have a couple of chores, three or four chores in one day instead of, and every day, instead of doing, you know, 7 hours of chores once a week or twice a week. So those are some things to think about. We also have here an interesting little series of images. So I'm going to start here. We have something that looks like a little flower. Okay, next to it we have a person that looks like they're walking with a cane, and then next to that it looks like maybe a dagger or a sword, and then here we have something that looks like some kind of icon or deity. maybe like an angel, but something that seems elevated. And so let's think about, what is this? With we have this kind of flower. It almost looks like a flame, you know, it reminds me of some kind of desert flower. So I think that this is kind of this beauty in this kind of arid and sometimes very you know, empty space, this kind of very harsh climate. So when something so beautiful can grow in a place that has so little water or nutrients, it is quite a miracle. I think that, you know, because this is in that emotional zone, it makes me wonder if there is almost like and I'm looking at the next one as well, like a grandfather or a father figure that kind of really has at times been very helpful to you in these times of kind of emotional psychic upheaval. I feel like maybe your people in your family who are kind of more masculine in these roles maybe are more emotionally and intellectually kind of more open, kind of very supportive and honest, vulnerable with their feelings, and have been there to support you and have asked you for support as well. And I feel like these relationships have been kind of a saving grace for you in some ways, maybe kind of even like a rare dynamic within a lot of families, or within, you know, the people that you know, your peers. Your relationship, the dynamic is maybe kind of very unique. And so I think this really kind of is a driving force for you to resolve some of the things in your life that just don't really serve you so well. This could be things like this going into these living situations, these relationships, and then being like wholly disappointed at points because it's not as kind of loosey-goosey and whimsical and easy as you might have hoped, but realizing that you have to put in real work to meet people kind of 50-50 so that you know, things can grow together. You can grow together, or that you can just have an environment that you know, is kind of you know, there's no aggression or minimal aggression, and everyone feels like they are, you know, pulling their fair share, or doing their fair share, and pulling, you know, their own weight, and able to get along in those ways. I mean, we've all kind of had roommates, I'm sure, anyways, I know I have, that you know, just didn't do very much of anything, and it was, you know, very difficult to be around people like that, let alone live with somebody like that. So I think that, you know, this father figure has definitely really kind of helped you sort out some of these things in your life. And I feel like this isn't yet another thing that you can really maybe you know, communicate with them about if they are deceased. I think that, you know, maybe some kind of private conversation through visualization, meditation, contemplation, dream work, definitely a place to be doing this kind of thing, asking for guidance, making appeals. Okay, and then with this kind of dagger or sword, I really think this is very much like the sickle. It's just cutting through kind of the nonsense of it all. You know where you need to do some work. You know where things kind of need to be shaped up a bit, and no excuses. Being empathetic with yourself and the circumstances, but you also are not going to get anywhere if you just kind of dwell in that space of not wanting to change things for yourself. So kind of just cutting through all of that and really getting to the core of it all, okay? And then, of course, this angel, this icon, blessings, blessings in the work, blessings in the troubles. We have these situations arise in our life for a reason. We have discomfort in our life for a reason, in our body, in our life, because to tell us that something needs to be worked on, something needs to be changed. This is not working out. Okay, so I really think that this is very much about this symbol is very much about being looked over, being loved unconditionally, while you are going through this self-evolution, while you are transforming parts of self and feeling more of this holistic configuration, okay? Now I just want to look at, we have this one. It kind of looks like a parrot. And I think that this is, for often when I see the parrot, it makes me think of kind of chanting, affirmations, mantras, okay? I think that you should find a mantra or a few mantras and work on using those for yourself as you are going through these processes, as something to kind of keep you in the place and focused on the work and on your goals. And I think that might be something that's really important going forward. The affirmations as well. Those can be really quite helpful, especially when you feel like you're just kind of going in circles, right? And also, as we say these things to ourselves, as we repeat them and they start to become kind of ingrained into our own vocabulary, into how we speak to ourselves, what we utter out into the world, that can be very transformative, okay, and have really lasting effects. And then I want to see, we have a snail, so maybe kind of slowing things down a bit here and there when you need to. I know that, my goodness, at least in the Northern Hemisphere, this time of the year, it is hard not to get into these kind of hypomanic states of just wanting to get a lot done, doing this, doing that, excited, waking up, wanting to get right outside into the sun and, kind of put your responsibilities to the side. But I think that it's important to be mindful, slow yourself down when you can, and be present, not just, racing from one thing to the next. Everything will come in due time. And so I think that is, an important thing to also carry with you. All right, let's check this one out. This is pretty, pretty empty over here. So I feel like, let's see. feel like there can just, you know, at times for you be kind of these periods of the depression as you kind of pull yourself out of this. You know, you really start to look at the problems a bit. I think that you can get into a place of being a little self-righteous, or maybe kind of looking at the circumstances, kind of finding a correlation to outside things and really placing a lot of the weight on those things. And that, you know, of course, we all have variables in our lives, things in our lives, people in our lives that make things harder for us, or, you know, just terrible. But when we are trying to figure this stuff out, I think it's so important that we think about our own role, but most importantly, how we react to things, where we can temper ourselves more, where we can be more proactive, how we can take ownership in our own lives, of our own lives. And so not to get stuck in this cycle of, you know, going from one extreme to the other, of, you know, kind of blaming to taking like full responsibility for everything. All my fault. Nothing goes right because I'm, you know, I suck or whatever, and getting into these kind of low states, you know, low confidence, and then kind of vacillating back into, you know, I am so great, or you know, I'm not to blame. This happened to me. It's had nothing to do with me, you know, and of course these can be true, either way at different times, but to make progress in life, we kind of have to find a middle ground, right? To make some kind of lasting transformation, we have to find some kind of middle ground. Okay, so I think that's something to really also consider. And, you know, if that doesn't resonate with you, then, you know, I might be wrong, you know. But I think for most of us, you know, I identify with that too. I mean, I do those things as well. I think a lot of us do. So it's just something to think about. So I think that's our reading tonight, and I just want to say thank you for spending this time with me. Thank you for allowing me to bring these messages to you. It is always such an honor. If you would be so kind as to like the video, it helps me get into the algorithm, and that helps grow this channel one person at a time, and we're all doing so well together collectively. If you have not subscribed, please, please, please do. You don't have to, but if you want to, you should. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next video is coming out. Other than that, if you can just leave a comment, let me know how you're doing. I love hearing from each and every one of you. A lot of the comments are really so sweet and just really make my day. Okay, so I'm going to thank you, and we will talk again in just a few days here, Leo. Thank you, thank you, thank you.